Hello and welcome to week 2. This is Sam Biondolillo. So here I'm looking at a drawing of Peter and the Starcatcher, a show that I did a couple of years ago. And we're just going to talk quickly about line weights and styles. So an important thing that you've read in the readings is that line weights are really important for helping to convey information in a drawing and sort of pull out what's important. For example, architecture is generally a darker and heavier line weight than that of maybe the set that we're trying to sink into the background or dimension lines. So this is something that is really important. Vectorworks has a couple different ways to affect the attributes of a line. We already saw what the attributes panel does, so I'm going to go over on the side of the drawing here and just make a line. And now that I've drawn this line, I can make the different attributes of that weight. So I can either adjust the line thickness over here in the attributes panel. And again, if you don't see this attributes panel, you can go to Window, Palettes, and click on Attributes. And that will make it so that this attributes panel comes up. And in here, I can make the line thicker. I can make it different colors. And I can make it so it's not just a single shape. So you can have different line types. So in your selection, you might want to make it like this. And again, you can change the thickness so it's more evident. So these are the ways that you can change the line type. And as you're drawing, you want to have consistent line weight. Now, what's a great thing about Vectorworks is that when we use classes, and in the next week we're going to talk about classes, layers, and design layers. But for right now, a great thing to know about classes is if you go up to this window here, classes all have their own default line and shape preferences. So for example, all of your dimensions will automatically follow, or everything in your dimension class will automatically follow these rules. Everything in your labeling class will follow the rules depending on which section that they are in. All of your LEDs should follow this. So if you use classes correctly, and we'll talk about when to use classes and when to use layers, you can make your life a lot easier, because that way, every time I draw a pipe, it can be in the pipe class, and then all of the pipes will be the same shapes, and all of the labels can be the same shape. So using classes is preferable to individually assigning your line weights and your classes and your colors, because that way everything's going to be really consistent and nice in your drawing. However, if there's little exceptions to things, you're definitely able to do it all manually with the attributes panel, and that is something that some people will do because they like to have that specific control. But that is something that you can do. But you can also, over in the object info palette over here, you can change the class. I'm not sure which. I'll just make it this one for now. And then in here, you can use make all attributes by class. And then this line will follow the class. So if you do make something and then you go back and set the class settings, you then can make it so it defaults to that class. And if you change the settings of the class, so say you're realizing that your pipes aren't dark enough and you want to make them all a little bit darker. If all of your pipes are from a pipe class, you can go in and modify the pipe settings in that class, and that will make it so that it universally fixes your drawing versus you having to go to each individual pipe and make it a little bit thicker. So those are line weights and classes. I advocate the use of classes. And again, next week we will talk about classes, design layers, and sheet layers. So that's all for now.